Right then, let's talk Mitsubishi, a name that's been around for ages, and one that's probably popped up in your mind whenever you think of Japanese engineering. You know, the lads who make those rally-bred Evos that make you go ooh and ah. The ones that tear up rally stages and make petrol heads weak at the knees. But did you know they started with ships? Yep, boats. Before the turbochargers and spoilers, it was all about steam and sails. Back in 1870, Yataro Iwasaki, a proper go-getter, founded this company. He wasn't just any businessman, he was a visionary with a knack for spotting opportunity. This was in Japan, land of the rising sun and all that. The country was changing fast, opening up to the world after centuries of isolation. Iwasaki, a shrewd businessman, saw the potential of shipping. He knew that connecting Japan to the rest of the world would be key to the nation's future. Japan was opening up, trade was booming, ports were bustling, and there was a hunger for progress in the air. He wasn't wrong, was he? Mitsubishi's ships were soon sailing all over the shop. They became a symbol of Japan's new era, carrying goods and people far and wide. But Iwasaki, he wasn't just a one-trick pony. Nope. He saw the future and it had 4 wheels. He was always looking ahead, thinking about what could come next. In 1917, Mitsubishi built its first car, the Model A. It was a bold move, stepping into the world of automobiles when hardly anyone in Japan even owned a car. It was based on a Fiat, a bit like when you copied your mate's homework but pretended you didn't. Still, it was a start, and it showed Mitsubishi's willingness to learn and adapt. It wasn't a looker, but hey, everyone starts somewhere, right? The Model A was hand-built and only a handful were made, but it set the wheels in motion. This marked Mitsubishi's entry into the exciting world of automobiles. From there, they kept pushing, experimenting, and improving. The Model A was just the beginning. Mitsubishi had big plans. They wanted to innovate, to create vehicles that would stand out and serve the needs of a changing society. They wanted to build cars for everyone, not just the wealthy. The dream was to make mobility accessible, to put Japan on wheels. They were on a mission to get Japan moving, and move they did. From humble beginnings on the water to roaring down the road, Mitsubishi's journey was just getting started. Now, the war, it mucked things up a bit for everyone. Life in Japan was turned upside down and the country faced challenges it had never seen before. Streets that once bustled with daily life were suddenly quiet, and uncertainty hung in the air. Mitsubishi had to shift gears and build aircraft and other stuff. The company, like many others, was swept up in the demands of wartime production, focusing on military planes and equipment instead of their usual products. Tough times, but they kept going. Workers put in long hours, often under difficult conditions, showing incredible resilience and determination to keep the factories running. After the war, things were different. Japan needed to rebuild, and Mitsubishi was ready to help. The country was in ruins, but there was a sense of hope and a drive to start over. Mitsubishi played a key role in this national recovery. They started making trucks and buses, practical stuff. People needed to get around, move goods. It wasn't glamorous, but it was vital. And Mitsubishi, they were good at it. Their vehicles helped connect communities and rebuild the economy, one journey at a time. But they hadn't forgotten their car-making dreams, not one bit. Even as they built trucks and buses, engineers and designers were quietly working on plans for something new, something that would one day put Mitsubishi back in the spotlight. In the 1960s, Japan's economy was booming. People were ready for something more exciting than trucks and buses. They wanted cars, and Mitsubishi was ready to deliver. The streets were alive again, and there was a hunger for innovation and style. They launched the Mitsubishi 500, a small, affordable car that captured the hearts of the Japanese people. The 500 was a hit. It put Mitsubishi on the map as a proper car maker. Suddenly, families could dream of owning their own car. They followed it up with other successful models like the Colt and the Galant. Each new car brought fresh excitement and helped shape the future of Japanese motoring. Mitsubishi was on a roll. They were making reliable, affordable cars that people loved. The company had truly transformed, becoming a symbol of progress and possibility for a new generation. Mitsubishi didn't just want to sell cars in Japan. They had their eyes on the world. In the 1970s, they started exporting their cars to America and Europe. It was a bold move, but it paid off. People loved Mitsubishi's small, fuel-efficient cars. They were perfect for the oil crisis of the 1970s. Mitsubishi was becoming a global player. They were taking on the big boys and winning. But Mitsubishi didn't just want to be known for small cars. They wanted to show the world they could build exciting cars too. cars that could handle a twisty road or two, cars that could make your heart race. And so, they created the Mitsubishi Lancer. It was a sporty, stylish car that turned heads wherever it went. The Lancer would go on to become one of Mitsubishi's most iconic models. It was a car that could do it all. Mitsubishi has always been a bit of a tech geek. They love to innovate, to push the boundaries of what's possible. And they've made some pretty impressive breakthroughs over the years. Take their silent shaft engine, for example. This clever bit of kit reduced engine vibrations, making for a smoother, quieter ride. It was a game changer. Then there's their Super Select four-wheel drive system. This gave their cars incredible off-road capability. It's what makes them so good at rallying. Mitsubishi was also one of the first manufacturers to embrace turbocharging. They realized that by strapping a turbocharger to their engines, they could get more power without having to make the engine bigger. It was a stroke of genius. And let's not forget their work on electric vehicles. Mitsubishi was one of the first companies to mass-produce an electric car. They were ahead of their time. They knew that the future of motoring was electric, and they were determined to be at the forefront of this revolution. Now let's talk about the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution, or EVO as it's known to its mates. This, my friends, is a proper driver's car. It's a rally car for the road, a tarmac-munching monster. It all started in the 1990s. Mitsubishi took their humble Lancer and injected it with a heavy dose of rally-bred performance. They gave it a powerful turbocharged engine, a sophisticated four-wheel drive system, and a chassis that could handle like a dream. The EVO was an instant hit among petrol heads. It was fast, it was furious, and it was utterly addictive to drive. It won rally championships, it set lap records, and it made other car manufacturers very, very nervous. Over the years, Mitsubishi released numerous iterations of the EVO, each one more extreme than the last. They were constantly refining it, honing it, making it even faster and more capable. The EVO became a legend, a true icon of the automotive world. Mitsubishi's cars are now sold all over the shop. From the bustling streets of Tokyo to the sun-drenched highways of California, you'll see Mitsubishi's 3-diamond badge everywhere. They've got factories in Japan, Thailand, China, you name it. And they're not just building cars for those markets either. They're building cars for the world. They understand that different markets have different needs. That's why they offer a wide range of vehicles, from small city cars to rugged SUVs. They've got something for everyone. And that's one of the reasons why they've been so successful. They're adaptable, they're innovative, and they're always looking to the future. Mitsubishi has also formed partnerships with other car makers over the years. They've collaborated with Chrysler, Daimler, and PSA Peugeot Citroën, to name a few. These partnerships have allowed them to share technology, reduce costs, and expand their reach even further. Now the world's gone a bit green, hasn't it? Everyone's talking about electric cars and saving the planet. Well, Mitsubishi was one of the first to jump on that bandwagon. They've been developing electric vehicles for ages. Remember the Mitsubishi i-MiEV? That was one of the first mass-produced electric cars. It wasn't exactly a looker, but it was a sign of things to come. It showed that Mitsubishi was serious about electric mobility, and they haven't slowed down since. They've got a whole range of electrified vehicles now, including hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and full-on electric cars. They're even experimenting with hydrogen fuel cell technology. They're not afraid to try new things, to push the boundaries. Mitsubishi knows that the future of motoring is electric. They're determined to be a major player in this new era. They want to be at the forefront of the electric revolution, just like they were at the forefront of turbocharging and four-wheel drive. It hasn't all been plain sailing for Mitsubishi, mind you. The journey of this iconic brand has been filled with twists and turns, and not every chapter has been easy. Over the decades, they've experienced their fair share of ups and downs, adapting to changing times and evolving tastes. Economic recessions have tested their resolve. Natural disasters have threatened their operations, and a few scandals have put their reputation on the line. But through every setback, Mitsubishi has always come out fighting, refusing to let adversity define them. They're a resilient bunch, these Mitsubishi lads, united by a shared sense of pride and determination. Giving up simply isn't in their vocabulary. When the going gets tough, they dig in and work even harder. They're always searching for new ways to improve, to innovate, and to come back stronger than before. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow. And that's what makes them so special. It's not just about building cars, it's about building a legacy. They're not afraid of a challenge. In fact, they embrace it, seeing obstacles as stepping stones to something greater. They know the automotive industry is a tough business, full of fierce competition and constant change, but they're in it for the long haul. Their passion for cars and innovation drives them forward, year after year. And they're passionate about building cars that people love to drive, vehicles that become part of life's best moments. And that's what it all boils down to, isn't it? Creating experiences that matter, journeys that are unforgettable, building cars that people love to drive, that bring joy and excitement to every mile, cars that put a smile on your face whether you're commuting to work or heading out on an adventure, cars that make you feel alive, that remind you why you fell in love with driving in the first place. And Mitsubishi, they know how to do that. It's in their DNA, woven into every car they build. They've been doing it for over 100 years, and they're not stopping anytime soon. So, what does the future hold for Mitsubishi? Well, they're not resting on their laurels, that's for sure. They're still innovating, they're still pushing boundaries, and they're still building bloody good cars. They're investing heavily in electric vehicles, autonomous driving technology, and connected car services. They know that the automotive landscape is changing rapidly, and they're determined to stay ahead of the curve. They're also focusing on emerging markets. They see huge potential in countries like China, India, and Southeast Asia. They're developing cars specifically for these markets, cars that are affordable, fuel-efficient, and stylish. Mitsubishi is a company with a rich heritage and a bright future. They've been around for over a century, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. They're here to stay. And that's good news for car enthusiasts everywhere, because Mitsubishi makes cars that are fun, innovative, and reliable, and that's something to be celebrated.